This is a quick overview on how a respondent can use geodata to add entries in his time use study. If permission has been given, the respondent can access the geodata through this button, and here you'll see a list of blocks which measured geodata. These can either be stationary activities or a travel from one point to another. So in this case, if we click on travel on foot, you see that the respondent gets additional context, start and end time of the measurement. He has the option to use this data to create a time log. He can also use the information from multiple green blocks. There's a map with a start and end point, and as well as the tracking points, and a source, because we like to keep the respondent informed at all times how his data is being used, even with a button to settings to give him full control over his settings and his own privacy. So if we click on create time log, you see that now it's the same as creating any time log in Motus. You select your primary activity, traveling to work, maybe a secondary activity, listening to the radio, and now we get these follow-up questions. On foot is selected and suggested, but the respondent can still choose another mode of travel and confirm it. And starting point and end point can be changed too. From here, the respondent can say, I want to change this starting point to this place, or you can even star it and make it its own location as part of a My Locations list. When this has completely been filled out, the respondent can press add, and now a new entry is created using the geodata within the timeline. He can open this, he'll see the map with the tracking data, and all this data was copied from the initial green time use block. However, this doesn't mean that the original block is gone. The original block is still there, the respondent copied information from it. As I mentioned earlier, the respondent can also use multiple of these green blocks to create a new entry from. If he taps this button, we have checkboxes appearing at the left, and now he can select multiple green blocks while still looking at the context and seeing the data, and select multiple green blocks he wants to combine the information from. So we see here that the start time is the start of the first block and the end time is the end of the last block. And everything else is the same as creating a single time log. So we take our activities. How did you travel? The app consolidated 3 different modes of travel that were present within the blocks, but he can still change this if he likes to. The starting point is the start point of the very first block. The end point is the ending point of the very last block. And if this all looks good, he can add it. And he now created an entry using the data from multiple geo blocks with all context being consolidated in the blue screen. So this concludes a quick overview on how a respondent can use geodata to create entries. Thank you.